Hello friends, welcome to my channel Learn and Study. Now we will see the other part of Qatari Commissions. The other major recommendations of Qatari Commission is common school system to ensure the equalization of educational opportunities for all children, 10 plus 2 plus 3 structure of education, 10 years of general education plus 2 years of higher education plus 3 years of degree, neighborhood schools. Every school has to admit each and every child with its prescribed locality, irrespective of their caste, religion, and community. Language policies given in NPE and POAR, they elaborate or discussed about the concept of language development and emphasized the adoption of regional language as the medium of instruction at the university stage. Mother tongue should be the medium of instruction of the school stage. Recommendations relating to the language practice were as follows. Three language formula improvement in the linguistic competences of students at different stages of education. Provision of faculties for the study of English and other foreign language and development of Hindi language as the link of language, etc. There are other recommendations. Now we will see the point by point. Access, enrollment, and retention of children up to the age of 14 years in the schools. Quality improvement of education by improving the school environment, child care, and activity. Content teaching methodologies, continuous evaluation throughout the year, removal of all kinds of physical punishment, continuing the practice of not failing the student in any class at elementary level, and arranging the essential facilities in primary school. Arranging non formal education for children who left the school in between or are residing at place not having schools. Setting up of Navodaya Vidyalaya was another landmark in the history of education. Primary schools be opened in remote area including ashrams or residential schools in tribal religion. The policy emphasized on inclusion of motor handicapped children in normal and school and arrangement of special schools at district headquarters. Common school curriculum, minimum level of learning, value education, role of media and education technology, work experience, emphasize on teaching of mathematics, science, sports and physical education and education for international understanding. Equal education opportunities, especially for the women and reserved communities. From expanding scholarships to the recruiting more teachers from the reserved category and incentives for more family to send their children to school regularly. Reorientation of system to promote gender equality. Emphasized adult education, development of new schools and universities. Now we will see the merits of the Qatari Commission. Free and compulsory education. Free education for all children up to the age of 14. It emphasized the need for education up to a certain age. Redefined education by restarting its objectives and focusing how education can influence and positively impact social and natural national issues and aspects. Career based approach. It focused on the need of the education that makes individual ready for the work front so that they can have a secure career. Examine educational problems. The commission examined and evaluated the educational problems existing in the Indian education system and strived to fix the issues. Reasonable pay for teachers. The commission put forward the need to offer reasonable and respectable pay for all the teachers belonging to all categories and subjects. Demerits of Qatari Commission. Lack of explanation. While the Commission puts forward the education goal and problems being faced by the Indian education system, it offers a lack of solutions and explanation how to achieve the goals. Conflicting. Many believes that the accommodations pointed out the Commission on the medium of language are conflicting and controversial. Inadequate guidance. The Commission fails to provide adequate guidance and suggestions on the steps, tips that can transform the education system in India as envisaged by the Commission. Huge financial investments. It requires heavy financial investments which was not economically or social feasible, especially when the country were below the poverty line. Position of heads. The commission did not touch upon the subject of the head and school and left it undecided. This lack of emphasis and attention towards this domain is regarded as ignorant. Despite all these demerits, the Qatari Commission cannot consider to be failure because through its recommendation, the National Education Policy 1986 was formulated. Now we will see the merits of national policy of education. They are some of the educational works, national system of education, uniform pattern of education, nation core curriculum, delinking degree form jobs, establishment of Navodaya schools, role of central government, financial suggestions, equal educational opportunities, encouraging talents and efficiencies. They are some of the demerits of the national policy of education. They are neighborhood schools has been completely neglected. Silence over public schools and their commercialization. No check on minority schools and their explanation. Too much expectations from the community help. Basic education is neglected at the school stage. Multiplicity of authorities in education has been recommended. Now we will see the merits of the Program of Action of 1992. Early childhood care and education, universalization of elementary education, secondary education, Navodaya Vidyalaya to improve the quality of education, women education, adult education and microplanning, education for students with disabilities. They are some of the demerits of the Program of Action of 1992. They are despite the vision of more student centric learning environment, and it did not suggest any concrete steps to help with this goal. It did not highlighted the changes needed in the textbooks, pedagogies, and teachers' training to create a more learner-centric schooling system. Even at the university level, there was no proper planning shared from resource mobilization as suggested in the POA. Now we will see the observations of the Qatari Commission. There are some of the suggestions regarding vocational and technical education. There are 25% of students at secondary level and 50% students of the higher secondary level should be brought within occasional category within period of 20 years. Junior technical schools should be covered into technical high schools. New political colleges should be opened only in the industrial regions. Facilities of part time, correspondence, short occasional, and technical courses created for should be increased for desired students completing school education. There are some of the suggestions regarding the teachers' standards and teacher education. They are pay scale. Pay scale should be revised after every 5 years. This is the most important point where it should be considered in the teachers' education. And the next, same pay scale for government and non-government teachers. Central government should fix minimum pay scale for every level of teachers. Appointments and promotion of teachers. Ability of efficiency rather than seniority school should be based off promotion. Appointment of female teachers should be encouraged at every level. Teachers should be qualified persons. And there are some of the suggestions regarding to the educational opportunities. They are education from class 1 to class 8 should be made free for everyone by the end of 5 years plan. Textbooks and writing materials should be also provided free to the children up to primary level. Scholarship to extraordinary, brilliant, and talented students to study abroad. Proper arrangements should be made for education, for university enrollment and retention of children up to 12 to 16 years of age. The NPE is the best policy for the development of education in remote areas, especially for SC, ST, handicapped, backward minorities, and women. Indian government introduced it for the development of nation and they got success on large extent. People come closer by the help of education, and now just because of this policy, India education system is third largest system among all nations. There are some of the observations of Program of Action of 1992. The Plan of Action 1992 was yet another important step towards the complex task of restricting the education system in India. Of all the previous education policies in India, this is focused the most on the development of scientific knowledge and predominated the need of 21st century of schooling. It aimed at a substantial improvement within our education system and gave attention to the aspects that can determine the progress of our developing nation. Despite the vision of the more student centric learning environment, POA 1992 did not suggest any concrete steps to help with this goal. It does not highlight the changes needed in the textbooks, pedagogics, and teacher training to create a more learner centric schooling system. Even at the university level, there was no proper planning shared for the resources mobilization as suggested in the POA. And once again, funds mattered as these policies could not be 100% successful. So now we will see the conclusion of the both in Qatari Commission and POA and of 1986 and 1992. According to the Qatari Commission of Education on should be linked with the idea of national reconstruction. The Qatari Commission has a very important contribution in the field of education.